Imagine if you were so distraught with Star Wars Episode 7 that you kidnapped Harrison Ford and forced him to remake the movie in your basement. So is the case with Stealing Solo, a Captain's parody, the newest comic book from world-class bullshitters. Stealing Solo is a parody of Star Wars and Hollywood in general. It's only available through Indiegogo for a short period of time, and once it's gone, it's gone. There's tons of perks and awesome gifts to get at each level, so sign up today to guarantee your copy of Stealing Solo before it's too late. This video is also brought to you by the Galaxy Ascendant series by Yakov Mirkin, a new, grand scope, action-packed space opera series. If you're disappointed with the current state of the galaxy far, far away, come visit the Galaxy Ascendant. Books 1 and 2 now available on Amazon.com. And the 2017 Golden Stake winning Undeadly Secret series, now available on Amazon in digital and paperback. For fans of True Blood, Underworld, and Blade, when they are awesome. Warning, the themes depicted in this series may be too intense for some readers. These vampires don't sparkle. Links in the description below.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
On September 5th, 2018, it was announced that Kathleen Kennedy would be awarded the Irvin G. Thalberg Award. The Irvin G. Thalberg Memorial Award is presented to creative producers whose body of work reflects a consistently high quality of motion picture production. At first, I was taken aback that the woman who killed Star Wars was getting an award for it. That seems to be the case for the elite. But when I looked deeper into the award and what it meant, well, she deserves it. Now before you click away in a huff, calm your tits and pay attention. The Thalberg Award has been awarded to producers since 1937 and has been awarded to producers such as Walt Disney, Alfred Hitchcock, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Clint Eastwood, and Warren Beatty. And if it's good enough for Dick Tracy, damn it, it's good enough for me. When you look at it like that, it's pretty prestigious. It's a who's who of Hollywood producers, and now Kennedy and her wife Frank Marshall are a part of that group. Once I read what the Thalberg was, and who had it, I decided to close up shop and ride off into the sunset to never make another Kathleen Kennedy video again. But something told me to read her Wikipedia page. And then I realized something that actually shows her shortcomings as president of Lucasfilm in a whole new way. According to her wiki page, JK! That's KK Doc, participated in making 60 films, mostly as executive producer. A list that is quite impressive. But if you look closer to what she actually did on those films, you might change your tune. An executive producer is one of the top positions in the making of commercial entertainment. Depending on the medium, the executive producer may be concerned with the management, accounting, or associated with legal issues like copyrights and royalties. In films, the executive producer generally contributes to the film's budget and usually does not work on set, in contrast to most other producers. With that out of the way, we can give credit where credit is due and congratulate Kathleen for a job well done. Dealing with the business aspect was her lot in life, and she was good at it. Give her that award, applaud her, have a drink in her honor. Life was better when she wasn't in charge of the creative of her films. But that all changed when she took over as Lucasfilm president. We've been privileged enough to experience Kathleen's proclamations that the Force is female. We've had the honor of hearing such gems like, I have a responsibility to the company that I work with. I don't feel I have a responsibility to cater in some way. I would never just seize on saying, well, this is a franchise that's appealed primarily to men for many, many years, and therefore I owe men something. Ever since Kathleen Kennedy took charge of Lucasfilm, Star Wars stopped being about intergalactic fun and became a depressing cesspool of politics and piss-poor storytelling. The fact that we have articles like this show that making Star Wars political was a mistake that Kathleen Kennedy won't be able to live down for quite some time. The beauty of articles like this prove that both sides are eating her alive. She isn't progressive enough for the woken ones, and she's castrating the great characters to elevate crappy ones, both male and female. Her attempts at making Star Wars appeal to the philosophy feminist fighting force, or has failed. It's not about left or right, it's about bad movies. I have a new name for those ardent defenders of the Disney wars. I won't be calling them SJWs anymore. I'll be calling them the Bad Taste Brigade, or BTB for short. JTB! That's BTB, boys. JTB! Yes, the Bad Taste Brigade, a group of like-minded individuals who like to praise bad entertainment earnestly, yet can't handle opposing criticism. This brigade likes to spout off words like racism, sexism, and angry white man, but crumple when phrases like illogical plot or bad storytelling come into play. They're loud, obnoxious, and useless, but harmless. Inclusion doesn't make a good movie. A good story does. They're on the losing end of this battle. The deceitful tactics they used early in the year have fallen apart thanks to Kelly Marie Tran's essay from Vanity Fair, as well as Daisy Ridley telling why she really left social media years earlier. This is what Star Wars has devolved into. No longer an epic story, but an embarrassment. There's a saying at Disney, what would Walt do? It's the shorthand query that emerges in the face of creatively negligent decision-making. Well, it's 2018 and we need to edit that to, what would George do? Would he have caved to the pressure of some invisible consumer base that doesn't consume the product they can't stop talking about? Doubt it. Would literally every aspect of Star Wars, from the films to the merchandise and everything in between, suffer because of the desire to save a few pennies? Nope. With Lucas, there was pride. Pride in Star Wars. It was his baby for so many years. He was independent from the system, and he created the most important saga in film history. Then he sold it, and it was ruined. Damn you, George. Just to shut up any critics, let's talk about another prolific female producer in Hollywood, Lauren Schuler Donner. If you don't know her, you'll definitely know her work. She's been involved with all the X-Men films, Any Given Sunday, and You've Got Mail, along with many others. 52 in all, which isn't too far off from Kathleen's 60. Her films have only brought in $5 billion, though, compared to Kathleen's $7 billion. The big difference between Lauren Schuler Donner and Kathleen Kennedy is that Lauren is a producer, not an executive producer. What's the difference? Well, a film producer is a person who oversees the production of a film, either employed by a production company or working independently. Producers plan and coordinate various aspects of film production, such as selecting the script, coordinating writing, directing, and editing, and arranging finances. So you're telling me on top of all the financial stuff, they have a hand in the creative process? I see. So Lauren Schuler Donner does more and she's not obnoxious about it? I like her already. If you're asking yourself, how do I know this about her? Just listen to her personal quote from IMDb. I used to go in with my fists up. I'd go, I'm tough, I'm tough, I'm tough. Eventually, I had to learn that's the worst thing. That is what men really hate. A lot of women fell by the wayside because they'd be so tough-ass in trying to prove themselves. I really, really like this woman. Lauren Schuler Donner goes to prove that you don't have to be a massive feminist to be making successful Hollywood films. You just have to be one to get all the press attention. Speaking of attention, I'd like to bring this little tidbit to yours. The Thalberg Award that Kathleen Kennedy is receiving is given out by the Board of Governors of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Do you know who sits on that board? Kathleen Kennedy. Convenient. Just remember, folks, when people tell you she's getting an Oscar for Star Wars and that the fandom menace has lost the argument, remember she's actually getting a Thalberg Award from a council that she's a member of. So I just wanted to clear up the entire Kathleen Kennedy is getting an Oscar situation because there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of confusion, there are a lot of lies that are being spread around, and we want to make sure that we get all the rumors, roll them all up into a ball, turn them sideways, and if you like The Rock, you know the rest. But here on World Class Bullshitters, we like to break it down in a nice, easily digestible package for you to know the truth of what's actually going on out in the world of entertainment. You can't say Back to the Future is great or terrible because of Kathleen Kennedy. Same with Indiana Jones or E.T. or all these other movies and projects she's been involved with. There are other people that took the creative side by the reins and made great products. Lauren Schuler Donner is one of those people who got involved, not Kathleen Kennedy. But you probably don't know much about Lauren Schuler Donner, but you know her movies. She was involved with Deadpool 2. And I saw Deadpool 2 and liked it more than Solo. So did everyone else. Speaking of Solo, folks, if you love World Class Bullshitters and you love comic books, make sure you check out Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. It's the first comic from World Class Bullshitters, and we've already blown past our goal of $25,000, and we're well on our way to $30,000. And once we hit $30,000, let's talk about stretch goals. So the first stretch goal, you're going to get an early bird certificate, which is going to be a fun little nod to Star Wars. This is to hold you over until the book arrives in February of 2019. It's just a fun little callback, something basic, something easy. I want to do it for all of you as a nice, fun thing. Then once we hit $40,000, we're going to do the Comicsgate trading card like everybody else that's involved. Then when we get to $50,000, well, let's do an Ashcan edition of an old comic book I created called Anthology. And it's a fun little book. It'll be in black and white, but it's a 28-page book, so you guys are going to get a lot of extra value for your money. And then let's bump that up to, I don't know, $100,000, where I'll hire someone else to color the book. We'll get it re-lettered, new cover, and we'll have that shipped out. And every perk that we get goes to everybody who's backed the book. So if you backed it at the lowest level, you're going to get all the perks coming to you down the road. So get involved with Stealing Solo. You only have a few weeks left in the campaign. And once it's gone, well, it's gone for good. This is our first attempt at this, and if it goes well, you're going to get a lot more comics from World Class Bullshitters. So folks, thank you to everyone who watches this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and share it. I know I say that there's a minimum number of views. This week's video hasn't done it yet, but I want to get this one out while it's still topical because it's very important to me. It's very important to you. It's important to get to the bottom of this. We always like to give credit where credit's due, but we also don't like to give undue credit to people who don't deserve it. She'll get her Thalberg Award for what she's done, from a board that she's a member of, but she didn't get an Oscar because of Star Wars. So I'll be back later in the week with more content, and it's a video you're not going to want to miss, because remember the Bad Taste Brigade we talked about earlier? Well, they're making a comeback, and in greater numbers.
Coming at you, it's the Rod Johnson Morning Show on 106.9 CUCK Radio FM. With me today is Jeff Hikes of Cleveland, Ohio, and he's here to talk about his new novel coming out, Soiling Stilo. Welcome to the studio, Jeff.
Hello.
All right, so what's your storybook you got going on all about? Tell me all about it.
Well, the title's actually Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody.
Uh-huh.
And it's a story about a group of guys from the World Class Bullshitters podcast who are distraught after seeing Star Wars Episode 7, and they decide to kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake the movie in their basement. It's a parody of Star Wars, the entire situation, and the cultural impact it's had on it. You're not listening, are you?
How about that, folks? Jeff Hikes, tell us some more if you can.
Well, sure. It was written and drawn by me. It's being professionally colored, professionally lettered, and it's already well past its goal, and we're trying to hit some new stretch goals for Indiegogo, and that's the only place you can get this comic book at, Indiegogo.
Fantastic. So what day do you foresee your book hitting the bookshelves there?
Well, we have a date of February of 2019. That's when the book will be shipped directly to all the backers on Indiegogo.
Fantastic. So everybody hit your local comic book store up on February of 2019 and get your copy of Stealing Solo.
It's not available in stores. It's only available through Indiegogo. So once it's off on October the 20th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, it's gone forever. So you don't want to miss out your copy.
All right. So do you have a website there, Jeffrey?
No, we don't. But if you want to find out more about it, the comic's only available on Indiegogo. It's the only website you need to know.
Fantastic. And then you'll be selling them on the internet after that, right?
No, that is not correct. It's only on Indiegogo.
All right. So you're not going to sell them anywhere else but Indiegogo, and they have to have it by the deadline day. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is correct.
Fantastic. All right. Well, if Jeff Hikes doesn't have any more time for us today, I'm just going to tell you once again, get his book, Stealing Solo. Coming to a bookstore near you. Anything else to say, Jeff?
It's only available on Indiegogo.
All right.